Hello and welcome to the Mind of Sunnyvale. I am Wanda, aka Sunnyvale, and I would like to welcome you to my channel today. And to my subscribers, of course, I want to say a special welcome. Thank you for supporting my channel and for continuing to watch my videos. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, don't worry, it's not too late. It doesn't cost you anything to click that little button. You can subscribe, you can like, and of course, as always, share the video. And I'd love to hear your comments about anything that I release. So I know you noticed, yes, I changed my hair. I did a little something for me. So a little take care of me time. So yeah, I'm trying something new. I haven't done this in a while. So I said I would try something new. So yay, that's something else that's new. So what are we doing today? Today, we are going to be making a delicious spiral ham. Yes, I know. People think it's just for the holidays. No, it is not just for holidays. You can have it for brunch. You can have it for like a weekend meal. I won't say weekday because maybe you don't have all that time, but you can have it for a weekend meal or just when you want to do something nice for a party. So this isn't just a holiday ham, even though you can use it for the holidays, but this is something I think you're going to enjoy. The first thing we need to do though is to preheat our oven to 325 degrees. You'll probably hear my oven beep in a while because I've already done that step. Next, we're going to talk about our ingredients and the tools and equipment you need to carry this out. So we're going to start with 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar. Yes, dark. Yes, it looks like, I think my husband said it looked like a sponge, but I promise that's brown sugar. It just took the shape of my measuring cup. Then we have 1/4 cup of honey. I don't want to lift this up too high because I don't want to spill it, but I have my little gadget here that helps me get out honey and other sticky things. Then I have the juice from 1 orange and the zest from 1 orange. We got about 1/4 cup of juice from that 1 orange, so that is plenty. Then I have 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice and about 6 to 8 grates of fresh nutmeg. I almost forgot what it was. So yes, I'm gonna stop here. I know, pumpkin pie spice. I talk about pumpkin pie, how much I hate it, how much I hate the spice, but this is the one time I will allow it in my kitchen and in my food. It's part of the recipe, it's not my fault. Next, we have a 6 to 7 pound bone-in half spiral ham. It's a nice little beautiful ham here. Now, it's important to note that this ham is a half ham and it's already cooked, so you could eat it as is following the instructions on the package, but we're gonna season it and let it, taste delicious. So that is our ham. Then I have 10 to 12 sprigs of fresh thyme. So normally you would remove thyme from the branch stem, but this time we keep it on for this recipe and you'll see why when we get to that part. And then of course I have some kosher salt to taste, and I have my fresh black pepper. You could just use black pepper, but I have a pepper grinder. I use it, so that's what I have. We will also need some water, and that will be important closer to the end of our recipe when we're putting it into the oven, but you will need that. And I just wanted to show, I use fresh nutmeg, not the pre-powdered, so you can see the fresh nutmeg looks kind of like a nut. And I keep mine in the refrigerator. I guess you can keep it in the freezer if you want to keep, because they come in a container. But this tool right here, my microplane zester, comes in so handy. I used it to get the zest off of the orange, and I use it to zest my fresh nutmeg. So that's something you can use. I always have my handy dandy spatulas. You are going to need a whisk. I have a few tasting spoons because you can't taste it and stick the spoon back in there, right? Don't do that. I know you know, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. So I have my tasting spoons, and then I have a mixing bowl. I love my trusty glass bowls. Then I have a small pot that I'm going to be heating up the glaze in. And then tonight I'm using my roasting pan, and I just need the bottom, but it has this handy lift so I can take it out, so that will be useful later on. So I will also be needing aluminum foil. I went ahead and pre-cut mine because it's very noisy and it's hard to talk when you're cutting aluminum foil. But that's our ingredients. Let's start making this ham. Now that the oven is preheating, it is time for us to start mixing the glaze. So this is another kind of put all the ingredients in and stir kind of thing. Are all my recipes like that? So first we have the brown sugar. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. And then the honey, this is my little gadget. It's so neat. I use it for honey or maple syrup or anytime I have something like really sticky, or peanut butter, anything like that. It has measurements on the side and it pushes it out so it doesn't get stuck in the container. So that's very helpful. Then we have our orange juice, freshly squeezed from the orange. And then there's our zest. Scrape all that in there. Brush that off. My hands are clean, I washed them. And then my pumpkin pie spice and my fresh nutmeg. Again, I just put them in the same container just to save on dishes. And then I'll put just a pinch of kosher salt, maybe a pinch and a half. Because with all that sweetness in there, you have to counterbalance that with some salt. And then just a little black pepper, not a lot, because you don't want it to overpower the rest of the flavors. It's just a little bit for seasoning. And then you just stir this together until it combines. Easy peasy. So now that we've done that, it's time to bring our ham into the picture. I'm just gonna wipe that off the side. So I went ahead and put the foil under the ham. I actually did 2 strips, one strip going horizontal and one going vertically, so I can just close the ham up when I'm done. But our first step is to kind of peel back the layers of the ham. And this is where the time comes in. You actually just take the stems, and I'm pinching off a few smaller pieces, but take the stems of the thyme and you just kind of put it every other layer. Just kind of get it down in between the layers. It's worth it. It's not going to be, I've never found it to be an overpowering flavor in the ham. I think it adds to the taste, but this is a step that I'm doing now. So I'm just going to keep going in between. So I'm coming over here to the side and just not just concentrating on the center. I'm trying to get it between these layers. I'm going to separate that a little bit. That's a pretty big piece, so I'm splitting it and putting it in between. So again, just kind of alternating. I have a few more I can stick in here. Alternating the layers and the thyme. And once I've done that, I'm going to take my glaze, and you can eyeball this. It's not an exact science, but put about half of the glaze over the top of the ham. So we're really trying to get it in those layers because we want the flavor to go down in between the layers. So I'm gonna stop there because I only need to do about half. So at this point, I have half of my glaze left, and it's time for us to close this ham. We want the steam and the flavors to be trapped in there and not to escape. So now I am tightly wrapping the foil over my ham. And at this point, this is where the water comes in that we had earlier. I'm going to put about 1 inch of water in the bottom of the pan. So it doesn't matter the temperature, it's going in the oven, so it doesn't have to be a certain temperature. So I'm putting about an inch of water. So now that I've done that, my ham is all wrapped up. I'm going to put this in the oven. Remember, we preheat it to 325 degrees, and your ham should stay in the oven 15 to 20 minutes per pound. So my ham is about 7 pounds, a little over 7 pounds. So it's going to be in for about 1.5 to 2 hours. And then we'll see what's next. So now that my ham has about 20 minutes left to cook, I have put the second half of my glaze into a pot and put it on about medium heat. And I want it to start getting little bubbles, just a simmer. So I'm whisking so I can get some bubbles. We want this to heat up, and then I might turn my heat down a little bit. It's going beyond simmer to boil, but no, I'm trying to simmer it, and after it heats up and I think all the sugar and everything's melted and it's nice syrup, then I'm going to let it cool and it will be ready to pour on the ham when I take it out. So now I've taken the ham out and I'm going to peel back the layers. It's not very hot to me, but if it's hot to you, please use tongs. Make sure you don't burn yourself. That is not my intention. So, it smells so good. The scent of the orange and everything is hitting my nose, but we're not finished yet. The other half of the glaze that we cooked down, we pour it over the top. It's gotten a little thicker. Get it in between all those layers. Oh, this looks and smells so good. I can smell the sugar, I can smell the honey, the orange. It's just, so we get all of that glaze out. It's thickened up a little bit, like I said, since we cooked it and we let it cool down. So now we can leave the ham, I don't want to leave any behind. We can leave the ham unwrapped. We don't have to wrap it now. We leave it open, and I'm going to put it back in the oven for 15 minutes. And then we let it rest, and it's time to eat. Yes. And I almost forgot. You have to raise the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the time you raise to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you put the ham back in the oven, 15 minutes. Got it. So after I took the ham out, I took my knife and went around the ham bone and tried to separate the ham slice, individual slices from the bone itself. And then I made some diagonal cuts along there and I let it rest. And I'm just gonna move this aside now. The pan itself is still a little hot, so careful, careful, careful. I can't say the word. Careful, careful, careful. So now I have some ham here. I just happen to have some macaroni and cheese lying around, you know? So I'm gonna give it a taste. My first taste. It's really good. Get a little macaroni and cheese. They go very well together. Sorry to smack on camera, but it's really good. So that is our delicious spiral ham recipe. I really hope you give it a try. It's very good. As you can see, I already have my plate prepared. I'm ready to start eating. But don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I welcome your comments and I'd love to respond to any questions you have. So until the next time, please continue watching my videos. I hope you have a great day and goodbye.